Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, let it get all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachakodash. Double honors to my teachers, the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and a Kazakh Shalom to the hopeful elect. I'm real quick, just want to go into this article and bring out some precepts. We're living in some very exciting times. We've done lessons in the past where it's riots and different examples of sedition in other countries, and more and more that spirit of division is being stirred up here in America. And we excited. That's why it's more important than ever to stay locked in. This is calm returns to Los Angeles after hundreds arrested. This is from BBC 2 hours ago. An uneasy calm has descended over Los Angeles after the first night of a curfew lifted on Wednesday, and cities across the U.S. brace for more protests. In L.A., nearly 400 people have so far been arrested, including 333 undocumented migrants and 157 people arrested for assault and obstruction. And those 330 undocumented migrants are most likely Northern Kingdom, Issachar, so on and so forth, the so-called Mexicans. Assault and obstruction. What is obstruction? Obstruction generally refers to action that intentionally interfere with the due process of law or the administration of justice, i.e. ICE detaining and essentially sending immigrants back home. This includes interfering with investigations, court proceedings, or law enforcement actions. Obstruction can manifest in various ways, such as witness tampering, destroying evidence, or making false statements to officials. So, going down to interfering with law enforcement, because ICE is a law enforcement agency. It says obstruction can also involve actions taken to delay, resist, or obstruct law enforcement officers in the performance of their duties, such as resisting arrest or interfering with a search warrant. Continuing on, like somebody attempted unaliving of a police officer. Federal prosecutors have so far charged 2 men for throwing Molotov cocktails at police officers in 2 separate incidents. A total of 4,000 National Guard troops and 700 Marines have been deployed to help quell the unrest. Some of those Guard troops are not authorized to detain people until police can arrest them. I want to read this quote too. A week ago, everything was peaceful. This is from Karen Bass. Things began to be difficult on Friday when raids took place. Bass suggested Los Angeles was part of a national experiment to determine how far the federal government can go in taking over power from a local government, from a local jurisdiction. So, whether that's true or not, I'm not saying it from a place where, she bullshitting. I'm saying our main focus is the prophecy. However it plays out is however it plays out. The point being, this is justification of ushering martial law. This is the fulfillment of prophecy, but we're going to get into some of those. 2 Ezra 9:1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shall thou understand that is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So this is Ezra, for context, talking to the angel Uriel, and he's asking a series of questions. And now we apply this today. This is one of the premier precepts. We link this with Matthew the 24th chapter to do what? gauge when the Lord is coming back, because no man knows the day nor the hour. But Yahweh Bashim Shai gave us clues, tokens in the form of prophecy. So we're supposed to measure the time diligently. Measure is a verb. And diligently, the adverb is describing how we're supposed to measure the time. That's why the scriptures talk about in Isaiah 62, it says, give him no rest till he establish Jerusalem and make us a praise in the earth. You know, we're constantly supposed to be edifying. We're constantly supposed to be on our watch, filtering things to the scriptures to make them plain upon tables. We're supposed to be warning the people. This is one of the many things due to make our calling and election sure. And those signs, again, are the different prophecies. Verse 2, it says, then shall I understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So when Yahweh Shai and the host of heaven come back, it's up and it's stuck. And guess what? This current rulership will be the last rulership besides the kingdom of heaven. There'll be no other nation to come up and have another turn. This is where Yahweh Shai will be reigning king, and King David will be our earthly king. And the kingdom of heaven, the rulership under righteousness, eternal righteousness shall begin. That kingdom that's prophesied about in Daniel, the 7th chapter. Verse 3 is the point. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. And guess what? There have been more earthquake sightings. Taiwan struck by 5.9 magnitude according to the Richter scale on Tuesday evening. Southern California earthquake shakes Los Angeles 16 hours ago. Another earthquake felt in the Fort St. John region 1 hour ago. And the list goes on. The point being, we pay attention to these things. Why? Because they let us know that Yahweh Bashim Shai is coming back. But going back to this is an example of the uproars of the people. A state of commotion, excitement, or violent disturbance. I would say with the attempted MURD, the arrest of a police officer, this is applicable. Second Ezra 15 and 16, straight to the point. It says, for there shall be sedition among men. Let's look that up. Incitement or resistance to insurrection against lawful authority. So the people who are defending the immigrants and some of the Northern Kingdom, some of the immigrants themselves, or people of quote-unquote Hispanic descent, are going up against ICE. It says, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. They're not going to respect their government officials. They're not going to respect law enforcement. And then invading one another is coming. It's definitely on the horizon. It's here. It says, they shall not regard their kings nor princes. The king will be the leader. Here in Babylon is Trump, Nero. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, right? Eventually, martial law is going to be ushered in. And America is going to be divided into those FEMA regions. Isaiah 19, and I started 2. 1. The burden of Egypt. Behold, the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Shah, rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt. Egypt meaning America. All the prophecies of the deliverance, the second Exodus, is talking about from the spiritual Egypt, which is here in America, pursuant to Revelation 11 and 8. And that swift cloud is a chariot. Second Ezra 13 lets us know that he's going to come back. The book of Acts, Revelation 1. In Daniel 12, all these priests let us know that when Yahweh Shah comes back, he's going to be in a ship. And the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. So Yahweh Bashim Shah is going to put all these false ideologies to rest. The scriptures talk about how every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess. And in addition to him proving himself to be who he is, the heart of Egypt melting, that consists of the thermonuclear destruction that's coming via the chariots, the concentrated lasers from the chariots and the missiles. 2 facets of the Lord's army. Verse 2, it says, and I will send the Egyptians against the Egyptians, the American citizen against the American citizen. And we seeing that now. The Straits versus the LMAO community. The racial tension is going back up, whether it's so-called black and so-called white, or, the people who are for the immigrants and the people who are against the immigrants. It's a heavy, heavy spirit of division here in America. And they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. So there's going to be more instances of protest and violence. And guess what? People are going to be unaliving each other, going in people's houses, thus saith the Lord. So these are things that we have to continue to look out for. And if we're of the elect, we're going to be fine. If you're not, the Lord is going to judge you. It's just what it is. But this is just another example of why we should be paying attention, because if you're not in the know, if you're not consumed in prophecy, you're going to be entangled with the things in this world. Matter of fact, I'll close on that. Second Timothy 2:1 says, thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Yahweh Shah Mashiach, and the things thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also, right? But this is a business. It's an enterprise. Yahweh Bashim Shah gave us a token in order to flip it. And warn the people. Yahweh Bashim Shah expects usury when he gets back. So same thing. We learn this information. We don't keep it for ourselves. We learn this information so we could put it on YouTube, on Daily Motion, on what is it? On Odyssey, or whatever outlet Yahweh Bashim Shah gave us to push this word out. And to do it correctly, rightly dividing the word of truth. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahweh Shai. Because we know in order to come to the Lord and serve him, prepare thy soul for much temptation, like it says in Sirach, the 2nd chapter. But a good soldier knows that his life is on the line. He will potentially die, but you still have to be fearless and do your best. And that's why that's a very fitting scripture. We're warriors. That also goes into counting the cost. No man that warreth entangling himself with the affairs of this life. So we're not going to be caught up in Cardi B and Stephon Diggs. We don't give a damn about Glorilla winning that gospel award at the BET. We don't give a fuck about the streamers at the BET Awards. We don't give a damn if the Pacers or the Thunder win. It's shit cool to watch. It ain't necessarily off, but to be consumed by these things, that's the problem. Because in the midst of you looking up I Show Speed and Lil Reggie, Lil Rodney's son, it's prophecies being fulfilled. You know, all the TikTok dances, just like the old heads used to say, if you knew them dancing, the music, and all this bullshit, like you knew your schoolwork, you had straight A's. If you was caught up in the prophecies, like how about Shemel Shah, like you caught up in all this folly, then you will be prepared. But like the scriptures say, as in the days of Noah. Matter of fact, I'm going to finish it out and grab that. It says, no man that warreth entangling himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier. So we cast those things aside in order to please Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Fame, status, things that are frivolous. Matthew 24:36, it says, but of that day and hour no man know, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. And what day is that? When he returns. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Why did Yahweh Shem Yahushua usher in that flood? All the wickedness that was going on. And guess what? He sent the preacher of righteousness. He sent the prophet. And he and his family will deliver. A remnant were delivered from his wrath and from death. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, married and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Right. Everybody caught up in, that backwards hurdle. Chubbs to the Houston Texans. Not knowing that the B system is being pushed more and more each day. Scriptures talk about the last day there should be scoffers. Vocab going all the way to London. It's a whole bunch of stuff pertaining to prophecy and pertaining to these scriptures, but people are more concerned with fulfilling the lust of their flesh. Don't even consider. But in the same way that flood came, and there was no turning back, it's the same way the thermonuclear destruction is coming, and there's no turning back. The same way that Jacob's trouble is coming, and there's no turning back. But you heard it first through the mouth of the prophets. Of course, starting with Elder Apostle Hard, but this is a divine message. So with that, we give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahshua, Bashem HaKodash. Double honors to my teachers, the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Lord, willing, until next time, Shalom.